Good day everyone! Have you ever experienced yung sobrang haba ng pila sa cashier, tapos ang init pa, kaya parang nauubos na yung oras and yung pasensya mo? That's why naisip namin gumawa ng UniQ, a web-based cashier queuing system para sa Bataan Peninsula State University main campus, para walang siksikan and hassle kapag magbabayad or mag-enroll. Now, let's start with the introduction to know more about UniQ and why we made it. So our study is all about UniQ, a web-based cashier queuing system for Bataan Peninsula State University main campus. Usually, ang cashier area sa university is sobrang daming tao, lalo na kapag enrollment or may transaction. Ang tagal ng pila, mainit, and minsan nakakapagod maghintay. Kaya gumawa kami ng system na makaka-help para maging maayos, mabilis, and hassle-free ang process. Sa UniQ, automatic kang makakakuha ng queue number and makikita mo kung ilan pa ang nasa pila. So while waiting, pwede ka muna umupo, magpahinga, or gawin yung ibang pwede mo pang gawin like yung mga activities mo. Hindi mo na kailangan tumayo sa mahabang pila kasi makikita mo na kung turn mo na. And malaking tulong din sa students to, lalo na ngayon na sobrang init na sa labas, mas makokontrol ng students kung kailan sila pupunta and hindi na nila kailangang magtagal pa sa pila. And aside from that, mas madali na lang din sa mga cashier staff na ma-monitor ang mga student na nakapila. In this way, mababa ang change ng error and mas mabilis ang service and mas maayos yung flow ng transaction. Now, let's look at the background of the study to see the problems students face at the cashier office. Sa BPSU, madalas talaga punuan sa cashier office lalo na kapag enrollment period. Since manual pa rin yung pila, nagkakaroon ng siksikan, mainit at minsan nakakapalit-palit pa ng turn kapag may umalis sa pila. Mayroon ding sumisingit sa pila kaya lalong humahaba yung waiting time ng students. Meron din kaming tinatawag na skip students. For example, kung turn mo na pero umalis ka saglit, mapupunta ka muna sa skip list. Pagbalik mo naman, ikaw na agad yung mauuna na tatawagan. Mas fair siya and organized, unlike sa manual queuing na kapag umalis ka, kailangan mong pumila ulit sa dulo. Kaya naisip namin na mas okay kung automated na lang yung pila. Ang UniQ system ay makakatulong kasi automatic na siyang nagbibigay ng queue number, may real-time update kung sino na yung kasunod, and may priority option din para sa mga special cases. Mas mapapadali din ito yung trabaho ng cashier and mas magiging convenient din siya para sa mga student kasi no need na tumayo sa mahabang pila. Upo ka lang, relax, and hintay mo na lang yung turn mo. Now, we will discuss the statement of the problem to know what issues a UniQ will solve. Ang main problem ng study namin ay kung paano makakagawa ng web-based queuing system para sa BPSU main cashier office na makakatulong mapabilis yung transaction ng students and maging organized yung trabaho ng cashier staff, lalo na tuwing rush hours. Sa ngayon kasi manual pa rin yung pila kaya nagkakaroon ng mahabang lines, delay, and hassle para sa both students and staff. Wala rin tong feature para ma-prioritize yung mga students na kailangan ng mas mabilis na service. And aside from that, kapag may student na umalis saglit sa pila, kailangan pa nilang bumalik sa dulo. Kaya nagiging confusing and unfair minsan. So, gusto namin sagutin ng UniQ system yung mga specific problems na to. So first, how will the system automatically assign queue numbers to students? How will the system show real-time queue status to make the students aware of their turn? How will the system arrange the flow of students on priority cases? How will the system reduce overcrowding and long waiting times? How will the system deal with missed students and ensure they are prioritized upon their return? How will the system allow cashiers and administrators to securely log in and access their respective dashboards and functions? How will the system provide reports and records in order to support administrative decisions? Now, let's see the objectives of the study and what we aim to achieve with UniQ. Ang goal ng study namin ay i-design and i-develop ang UniQ, isang web-based cashier queuing system para sa Bataan Peninsula State University main campus na makatulong na mapababa ang waiting time and mapadali ang process sa cashier office. Specifically, gusto namin makagawa ng system na allowing students to register and automatically receive a queue number, displaying the real-time status of the queue on screen televisions, organizing the flow of students and properly handling those who need priority service, providing cashier staff and administrator with an interface to monitor and manage the queue. Handles keep students in fair manner by allowing them to return and be served first when they come back. Provide secure login functionality for cashier and administrator allowing mm, cashier login using their credentials to manage transactions and update queue statuses. Administrator to log in to monitor the system, manage user accounts, and generate reports. Generating reports that can help the administration in decision making. Use appropriate tools and technologies in creating the system that will support database, interface design, and reporting features. And last, test the system to ensure it is reliable, accurate, and user-friendly for both students and staff. Now, let's proceed to scope and delimitation.
So our system is called UniQ and it's computerized queuing system designed for the BPSU main cashier office. The main goal is to make the queuing process more organized, fair, and efficient for both students and cashier. The system works by letting students input their details para makakuha sila ng queue number automatically. After that, the system will route them to the correct cashier window depending on the kind of transaction. Meron din kaming priority queue option para sa mga individuals na nangangailangan ng special assistance, ensuring equal service opportunities. On the cashier side, meron silang interface kung saan pwede nila makita yung transaction details at student info. This helps them manage queues properly and avoid confusion. We also included a real-time display sa TV para makita ng students yung current queue status habang naghihintay sila. Aside from that, one of the most important features of UniQ is the reporting function. Through this feature, administrators can monitor and evaluate how well the cashier system is performing. It can track three main time-based data points that are very important in measuring efficiency. First is the waiting time. Ito yung oras na ginugugol ng student bago siya ma-assist ng cashier. Kung masyadong mahaba ang pila, ibig sabihin may delay or may area for improvement sa queue process. Second is the service time. Ito naman yung tagal ng actual transaction or yung time na inaasikaso na ni cashier si student. Dito makikita yung gaano kabilis o efficient ang cashier sa pag-handle ng bawat transaction. And lastly, the total time. Ito yung combination ng waiting time at service time. In short, ito yung overall experience ng student mula sa registration hanggang matapos ang transaction. These metrics will help the university make data-driven decisions to improve cashier efficiency and overall queue management. For the limitations, UniQ will only handle queue management. It doesn't process or verify payments, and it doesn't integrate with any accounting systems. Hindi rin siya tatanggap ng physical or digital documents na isasubmit ng mga students. So ang focus lang talaga ay ayusin ang pila at mapadali ang service flow sa cashier. During development, ang testing will use laptops as our main hardware and Visual Studio Code, MySQL, Clip Studio Paint, at Microsoft Word as our software tools. In short, UniQ aims to make the cashier process smoother, fairer, and more transparent through technology, even if it doesn't handle payments itself. And now, in the significance of the study, for the students, usually, ang mga students ay matagal pumila sa cashier para magbayad ng tuition or other fees. With UniQ, hindi na ganun kahaba ang waiting time. Mas mabilis at organized so they can save time and focus on academics instead of spending hours sa pila. For the cashier side, this system will really help the cashier staff kasi mas magiging maayos at systematic yung pag-manage ng lines. Hindi na sabay-sabay ang tao and less na rin ang human error. Dahil mas efficient ang system, mas gumaganda rin ang service quality at mas nagiging productive yung buong department. For future researchers, yung study namin can serve as reference or guide for those who want to improve queue management systems in school and universities. Pwede nila itong i-enhance, dagdagan ng features, or i-adapt sa ibang cashier university. Basically, this project can serve as a foundation for more advanced queue automation in the future.
And now we'll be talking about the conceptual model, which is the general layout and process of UniQ. So in this conceptual model, we'll be using three key components that will be used in developing and operating the system, which is the input, the process, and the output. These three will lead into the evaluation. So with these three, it allows us researchers to comprehend and contribute of each component and allow us to answer the queuing problem that is experienced by students and cashiers in the university. And it allow us to use as a guide to, to math technical requirements and the objectives for the life cycle development. So firstly, we'll be talking about the input. So in this one, the first one will be the software requirements. We'll be using the Visual Studio Code to create the website. SAMP for the database itself, Microsoft Word for documentation, and Clip Studio Paint integrating the design of the website and the wireframe. For the hardware requirements, we need a laptop and computer system for the website itself and creating it, and the television to showcase the key information system. The next one is the software development, which is six stages. I'll be explaining more later in the project development, but the six are the requirements and planning, the software design, implementation and coding, system testing, deployment, and lastly, the maintenance. So this software development of creating our website will lead us to the output, which allows us to generate queue numbers, organize queue lists for cashier windows, reduce waiting time for students, automatic monitoring of the queue system, and reports for admin. So we need to ensure that in the evaluation, the output that of the output of the website that we'll be making will be working properly with no errors and bugs. Next. For the context diagram, this is a representation of the system that focuses on how each entity works to the system itself. So in the middle, we have the UniQ, which is the website itself. The student gives their student information, and in return, the website will give the queue number so the students know which number they are. The assigned cashier window that is related to the issues that the student have signed, and the queue status and display on how long they need to wait. So for the cashier, they send their login credentials that they are an authorized user that is specifically a cashier, and the transaction status updates to show that the queue status is updated. In return, it also displays the queue status. It gives the student information so the cashier can update it and the completed transactions that the cashier did. And lastly is the admin. The admin gives a login credential showing that they are an admin, an authorized user, and the account management actions that allow them to edit the settings of each account. In return, the UniQ shows the reports of each admin that have completed their transaction and the history of each and every transaction, manage the cashier accounts, and shows the queue status and display. Next. So the next one we'll be talking about is the project development. We'll be using the waterfall model because we do not need many alterations. We just need to do this one step at a time. It allows us to have the project to be stable and predictable, the execution of each task. So in here we have 6 of them. So I'll be going to one step at a time. So the first step I'll be talking about is the requirements, where we need to ask the university of what the operations and requirements are needed so that our website will fit the needs for the cashiers. We'll be discussing with the university itself and list down the requirements and ensure that all of them are within the website itself. So the second one is the system design. With the use of Clip Studio Paint, we'll be creating the wireframe and the mock-up of the website itself. This is where we create alterations of what it will look like until we create a final design that will work for the website itself. We ensure that the website is user-friendly and easy to see and understand for both student and staff. The next one is the implementation of code. This is where we code the website itself. So with the system design that we're used, we also code the website externally and internally. And for the database, we use SAMP to connect the database to the website to ensure that it is dynamic. And using my SQL to ensure that every student's records can be immediately imported to the database itself. The fourth step is system testing to ensure the website itself is working functionally. So if there are bugs that were within the website or any errors that were missed during the testing, we ensure that in system testing that all of them will be removed, most of them. And the fifth one is deployment. So this is where we be using the website itself in real life and do a test run on how the cashiers will use it to the students. This system is where the website itself is now public for everyone to see and it will be used every single day. And lastly is the maintenance. To ensure the website is working properly, that is updated to ensure that security is updated to the latest and that any bugs that remain will be fixed. And ensuring that any future features that are asked and given can be implemented to the system in the future.
Now let's proceed to data flow diagram level 0. According to University of Cape Town, a data flow diagram level 0 is a more detailed view of the context diagram that shows the major sub-processes and the data stores in the system. It aims at showing how data moves between the processes and the data stores within the system. So here's the DFD of the UniQ system po. We have 3 entities, the student, cashier, and the admin. And then we have 6 core processes, the registration, queue management, login, transaction processing, account management, and report generation. And then we have 3 data stores, the student information, the queue entries, and the accounts. So for the students, they need to enter their information sa registration. And then once na makapag-register sila, i-match sa nakasave na student information sa database yung kanilang in-input, and once na na-validate or tama yung in-input nilang information, makakakuha sila ng queue details na dumaan sa queue management process. Tapos for the cashier, they need to log in para makita yung transactions or yung queue entries ng each student. And after the queue management process, mapupunta yung queue entries, mapupunta yung mga queue from the registration dito sa queue entries and masasave siya sa ating database. Para makita ni cashier yung mga transactions, kailangan natin i-retrieve yung queue entries and papasok siya dito sa transaction processing. Also, dito nangyayari sa process na to yung transaction status updates ni cashier. Tapos, masasave lang siya ulit sa queue entries or ma-update. And for the admin naman, kailangan din niya mag-login para makapag-generate ng report and ma-manage yung account management. Para makapag-generate siya ng reports, i-retrieve natin yung mga completed transactions from the queue entries data store, and then dadaan siya sa report generation process, and then magiging reports na siya na ready i-download ni admin. And for the accounts naman, we have the accounts data store, and makikita ni admin yung mga accounts sa system once na makapag-login siya, and may capability siya na ma-update or makapag-add ng bagong user. Tapos, masasave siya dito sa accounts data store. So lastly, we have entity relationship model, and according to M. Banugo and others, entity relationship model is similar to a conceptual visual representation which illustrates the connection between the entities in the database, and it involves the use of symbols to define entities, relationships, and attributes to allow the database to be organized and coherent. So ito po yung ERM ng UniQ system. We have 3 entities or tables, yung for the student or student info, for the queue, and for the account. So under ng student info or ng student entity, we have attributes like student ID, first name, middle name, last name, sex, birthday, program major, and year level. And for the queue entity naman, we have attributes like queue ID, queue number, window number, student ID, purpose is priority, status is skip, updated by, updated at, service start time, and created at.
And lastly, for the account entity, we have attributes like account ID, username, password, first name, last name, role, cashier number, status is logged in, updated at, and created at. And these entities have their relationships with each other. So yung student info and then yung queue tables, meron silang relationship. Kasi one student can have many queue entries or si isang student pwede siyang makapag-register with different purposes at the same day. Tapos si account naman, isang account pwede mag-update ng madaming queue entries. For example, si cashier 1, pwede niyang i-update yung 5 magkakaibang queue numbers. So that's all po for our documents. Now let's proceed to our system demo. Ayan. So this is our landing page po or our home page. Ayan, ito po yung mga included, yung title, and then yung mga instruction, tapos yung 3 cards for the student stuff, and yung queue display. So if student ka, dito ka papasok, o if staff ka, cashier or login, dito ka. And para makita mo yung queue display, ito yung pipindutin mo. And so as of now po, wala pang nakapila sa cashier office or sa cashier. Kaya ito pa yung mga nakalagay, no students in queue and no waiting students. Once po na magkaroon ng pila, dito sila unang pupunta or malilista sa waiting list. And kapag may siniserve na or processing na yung student, dito sila mapupunta. Depending on what number of window sila na-assign. Okay, now try naman po natin mag-enter as a student. So if a student ka, ito yung kailangan mo pindutin. And then magpo-proceed ka na sa student registration form kung saan kailangan mo i-input yung student ID mo, yung first name, yung last name, and kung anong purpose mo sa cashier. The priority option po for the students who are PWD or pregnant. Try natin mag-input ng details. Okay. Ayan. So once na mag-match po yung in-input ni student sa nakastore sa database natin, then magpo-proceed siya dito sa queue number page po or yung queue details sa makikita na yung kanyang queue number and kung saan siya naka-assign na cashier window. So kapag po may nakapag-register na student, mapupunta na siya dito sa waiting list and then nakalista na yung kanyang queue number. Since kanina is naka-assign sa window 1, dito siya sa window 1 mapupunta. Okay, try po natin mag-register ng madaming student. Pag naman po mali or kulang yung information na in-input ni student, i-return siya ng system. Since hindi siya nagmamatch sa mga rows or records na nakastore sa ating database. Kaya kailangan dapat tama. Or i-double check bago pindutin yung get queue number button. And also po, kapag nag-register si student at the same day ng parehong transaction or purpose, i-return din siya since bawal po yun and ang pwede lang is makapag-register si student ng different purpose or transactions at the same time or day. So bawal po yung same transactions tapos same day. Sige. Okay, so try naman po natin yung priority option. Okay. So, kapag naman po priority yung student, ganito na yung magiging queue number niya, may P, and then also makikita niya din kung saan siyang naka-assign na cashier window. Ayan. Kapag po may nakapag-register na student, meaning may mga naghihintay na sa pila. And then dito sila mapupunta. Ayan, naka-arrange sila per window. Once na ma-serve sila or ma-process sila, dito na sila mapupunta. So try naman po natin mag-enter as staff or cashier or admin. So, cashier po muna. Ayan. So, once staff ka, dito ka mag-proceed sa login page kung saan kailangan mo i-enter yung username and yung password mo or yung login credentials mo. Ayan. So, if cashier ka, ito yung makikita mo sa dashboard. Merong 5 tabs. One is for the student queue or yung mga queue entries na pumasok sa system and naka-assign sa cashier number mo. Ayan sila. Makita mo yung queue number, student ID, yung name, yung transaction, and kung yung status, waiting or processing. Okay, so dito sa waiting list natin under window 1, ito yung queue numbers nila. So, match naman siya dito sa student queue natin. And then sa next in line, dito, fini-fetch kung sino yung una sa pila. Since si C1-1 ang una, siya yung unang mapafetch dito. Ayan. So, kapag pinindot ni cashier yung call next student button, ito yung mangyayari. Ibig sabihin nun, siniserve niya na si student. And ang magiging status ni student sa student queue is processing na. And pagdating sa queue display, dito na siya mapupunta. Sa taas na. And mawawala siya dito since processing na siya or serving. Ito yung pipindutin naman ni cashier kapag complete na yung transaction ni student. Ayan. So, mawawala siya dito. Pero mapupunta siya dito sa completed transactions. And nakalista din dito kung anong oras or yung date time na natapos yung transaction niya. Ayan. So, for example naman, si student is tinawag na sa queue display. Ito na siya, si C1-2 or si Beverly. Tapos, wala siya sa pila or umalis siya saglit para umihi or mamili ng pagkain. Meaning nun, walang pupunta sa window or sa cashier. Kaya kailangan ni cashier i-skip muna si Beverly para makapag-proceed sa ibang mga nakapila pa. Ayan. Kapag na-skip siya, mawawala na siya dito. Tapos, mapupunta siya dito sa Skip Students tab. And kapag bumalik na siya, for example, nakita niya wala na yung queue number niya dito sa queue display. Tapos lalapit siya sa window o sa cashier, sa assigned cashier window niya. Tatanungin niya kung nalagpasan na ba siya or kung ano nangyari sa queue number niya. And then hahanapin siya dito ni cashier sa Skip Students tab. Tapos pwede na siya ulit i-serve ni cashier. So babalik siya dito sa student queue. And then siya na ulit yung i-fetch dito sa next in line. Ayan. Complete lang natin para ma-complete na yung transactions. And then, ayun, dito na nakalista lahat ng completed transactions sa araw na yun. So, wala na nakapila sa window 1, kaya no students in queue na and no waiting students na. Okay, try naman natin i-log in yung other cashier sa system. Okay, mali ng username. So, under din pala ng cashier dashboard, makikita ni cashier kung pang ilang cashier siya. So, dito, pangatlo siya, kaya cashier 3 nakalagay. Ayan. Same lang din yung flow. Yan, ganun lang din. Yan. Okay. So, lipat naman tayo kay admin. Ayan. So, under ng admin or inside the admin dashboard, meron lang 3 tabs. One for the reports, account management, and for queue display. So, for reports, makikita ni admin yung daily completed queue summary. So, for example, ngayong araw, November 13, si cashier 1 nakakadalawang students pa lang na siniserve. Si cashier 2 wala pa. Si cashier 3, dalawa din. So, one total is 4. And para naman sa report na pwedeng ma-download as PDF, kailangan muna ni admin mamili kung anong report type yung ita-download niya. Kung daily reports ba, or kung monthly report, lahat ng transactions ngayong month, tapos yearly reports, lahat ng completed transactions ngayong taon na to. Ayan. So, try natin muna daily reports. Ayan. So, masisave siya under ng queue report name. Ayan. So, sa cashier queue report, makikita natin kung anong type yung pinili ni admin, daily report, and yung date kung anong araw niya dinownload to. Ayan. Makikita yung mga queue details. So, that ID, purpose, priority, cashier number, kung sinong cashier or kung anong cashier number yung nag-serve sa student, tapos yung completed at kung kailan natapos yung transactions, yung waiting time, yung time spent by the student from the registration hanggang before ma-serve ni cashier, yung serving time kung gaano katagal sinerve ni cashier si student, and yung total time, yung total time spent ni student from registration up until matapos yung kanyang transactions. And then under here, we have also a summary by cashier. Ayan. Kung ilan yung student served nila, yung average waiting time, average serving time, average total time per cashier. And then makikita din natin dito yung total student served that day. So kapag monthly reports naman, ganito yung magiging itsura niya. Ayan. So if-fetch niya lahat ng completed transactions within that month or ngayong month, November 2025. So same lang din na makikita. And then, gano'n lang din sa yearly reports. Ito-fetch naman niya kung lahat ng completed transactions within that year. Kunwari ngayon, 2025. Ayan. And also, sa account management, may capability si admin na i-edit or mag-add ng bagong account. For example, ito, si Julia Barreto, i-edit natin siya. So, sa edit user form, ito yung makikita. First name, last name, yung username. Pero yung password, hindi makikita ni admin. Yung role, yung cashier number, and yung status. I-set natin siya as inactive. For example, absent siya that day. So, si cashier, pwede siya maging inactive once mag-absent siya, tapos once leave siya, ganon, or kaya completely mag-resign siya. Ima-mark na siya as inactive. Tapos, since inactive na siya, magiging null muna. Or magiging null na yung kanyang cashier number. Tapos since inactive na, mag-add naman tayo ng kapalitan niya. So for the add new account form, ito yung makikita. First name, last name, set tayo ng kanyang username, tapos password. Ayan. And then select lang tayo ng roles. Cashier. Since si cashier 1 yung umalis, siya naman ipapalit natin, and active status. Ayan. So, nalagay na natin siya sa database, kaya na-retrieve na siya dito. So, si Julia Barreto, hindi na siya yung cashier 1, si Maria Mercedes na. And sa queue display, same lang din na makikita ni admin yung nakikita ni cashier and nung student. So, try natin i-log in si Julia Barreto kahit sinet natin siya as inactive kanina. Ayan. So, kapag ganon, i-return siya ng system since nakamark na siya as inactive. Kaya, hindi na siya pwede mag-log in sa system or hindi na siya pwede makapag-access sa system. Ayan. So, sa queue display, na lang yung natitira. Hindi pa siniserve ni cashier 2. So that's all po for our video presentation, including our presentation of our documents and system demo. Thank you so much po for watching and listening.